You ever notice how the ones who seem to move on fastest are the ones you suddenly can't stop thinking about? It's strange, right? You'd expect silence to equal forgetfulness. But that's not how it works. The truth is, what really stays in someone's mind isn't your absence. It's your transformation. See, most guys think going quiet will make her miss you. But it's not the silence that she'll remember. It's who you became while you were silent. It's not your words, not your texts, not your "I'm working on myself" updates. It's your energy. Your presence. That's what she'll feel. So today, I want to show you what truly makes a woman start questioning everything. Not as a game. Not to manipulate. But because you finally started choosing yourself. Let's break this down. Point 1. Stop explaining. Start becoming. Let me give it to you straight, brother. If you ever catch yourself trying to explain your worth to a woman, stop. Seriously. The moment you start defending who you are, trying to prove you've changed, you've already given away your power. You don't owe anyone a TED Talk about your growth. You don't need to send long paragraphs or emotional check-ins. You need to become the man you talk about. Upgrade in silence. Let your new habits speak for you. Let her see the change, not hear about it. Imagine she sees you smiling more, dressing sharper, standing taller. Suddenly, you're not the same guy who used to orbit around her. You're someone new, and you didn't need to announce it. That's when curiosity kicks in. Wait, what happened to him? That's the moment her mind starts to spiral. Point 2. Stay where your power is. Let me tell you what most men do when a woman pulls back. They chase. They spiral. They stalk her social media, overthink her every move. And just like that, boom. All their power? Gone. Handed over like loose change. But hear me out, your power was never in her. It's in your focus. You don't get stronger by obsessing over where she is or who she's with. You grow by locking into your goals. Your fitness. Your hustle. Your mental peace. Because when she sees you not waiting around, when she checks your page and realizes you haven't checked hers, that's when the shift begins. It's not the silence that shakes her. It's your stillness. Your calm. Your purpose. That's magnetic. Point 3. Let her feel you in the room you're still in. You don't have to vanish to be missed. You don't need to make some dramatic exit. Real strength is staying right there and changing everything. Be in the same room, same friend group, same circle, but shift your vibe. You're not cold, you're just centered. You're not rude, you're just focused. You're alive, you're present, just not for her. Laughing, connecting, glowing, and all that warmth she used to feel, it's no longer hers to enjoy. That hits harder than silence ever could. Because you're still there, just not hers anymore. Point 4. Cut the invisible strings. Listen, you can block her. Unfollow. Delete every message. But if she still lives in your head at 2 a.m., you're not free. You're just pretending. The hardest leash to cut isn't digital, it's emotional. It's the what-ifs. It's the memories you replay. It's the imaginary conversations in your head. Freedom comes when you stop needing closure. When you stop wondering what she's thinking. When you stop checking her story not out of strength but because it doesn't even cross your mind anymore. That's when you win. Not when you ignore her, but when you outgrow her. Point 5. Don't be unavailable. Be unreachable. Anyone can ignore messages. Anyone can disappear for a while. But being unreachable? That's a different frequency. Unreachable means she cannot access your peace anymore. Your self-worth is no longer tied to her attention. Your confidence can't be shaken by a text or a post. She might still have your number. But the man who used to answer? He doesn't live there anymore. That's what shakes her. Not your silence but the realization that she can't reach you emotionally anymore. You didn't just pull away. You leveled up. You stepped out of the version of yourself that once needed her validation. That's rare. And that's powerful. Point 6. You don't have to move on. Just move up. People love saying, just move on. But let's be real, moving on isn't about finding someone new. It's about finding yourself again. You don't need a rebound. You need a rebuild. Upgrade your mind. Your goals. Your circle. Your lifestyle. Not to get her back. Not to prove a point. But because staying the same would be a disservice to the man you're meant to become. And here's what's wild. As you rise, as your standards rise, as your life expands, she starts to shrink in your story. Not out of bitterness, but because your perspective just changed. You didn't lose her. You outgrew the version of yourself that needed her. That's what makes her stop and think. Did I let go of something rare? But by then, you're already too far ahead to care. Point 7. Silence only works when it has substance. This is where a lot of guys get it wrong. They go quiet and wait for her to notice. But silence by itself, that's just empty noise. Silence only works when it's backed by growth. If nothing's happening in your life while you're silent, she won't feel a thing. But if during that silence, you're building, healing, rising, if your energy is sharper, your goals are bigger, your peace is deeper, then silence turns into power. She won't remember the guy who ghosted. She'll remember the man who became untouchable. Closing, inspiring, steady tone. So let me leave you with this. You don't make her miss you by disappearing. You make her miss you by becoming undeniable. Not to win her back. Not to prove your worth. But because you finally remembered it. You don't need to manipulate. You don't need to chase. You don't even need to explain. You just need to become. Because the moment you stop waiting to be chosen and start choosing yourself, that's when everything begins to shift. For her. For you. For good.